Hi everyone, it's Tamika once more. I wanted to talk about something that I think a lot of people can relate to. Particularly, I think for a lot of us as Black women, we can relate to because people seem to feel it is their role and responsibility to tell us how to live our lives and what is in our best interest without consulting us first. And I wanted to actually talk about something that might seem to be a little bit odd, that it is still seen as a highly sensitive and controversial topic, but that's cannabis use in pain management. Now, for myself, I have been using medical cannabis for a few years now because I have underlying medical conditions and it's been very helpful with the pain management piece. I use so under the guidance of a physician or a nurse practitioner. So I'm not self-medicating and I'm not using cannabis alongside other medications that people within my healthcare team are unaware of. That is not something that I would endorse because it could potentially have some very negative consequences. Cannabis use, I am not here to tell you what to do in terms of what to put into your body. Here in Canada, where I live, cannabis use has been decriminalized since October of 2018, which means there's the recreational side, there's the medicinal side. I play on both sides depending on what my needs are and my pain symptoms as well. There is still, however, a lot of stigma when it comes to using cannabis, marijuana, weed in terms of pain management and pain symptom management. That stigma can come from your family, it can come from acquaintances, it can come from people that you might have to work alongside if you have to share that information for whatever reason. It can even be cultural and it can also be a part of your ethnic background as well. I come from a background where just the very idea of cannabis use is seen in a stigmatized light because it's seen to be used by a group of people who are been seen to be less than. And when I'm saying a group of people, I'm referencing basically the members of the Rastafari faith community, which is also a faith, a practice, it's also a way of life, and oftentimes cannabis is a part of that practice. It's not exclusive and it doesn't have to always necessarily be the case. However, there's been a lot of stigmatization around people who look like me, who are women, who are Black, who come from certain parts of the world who use cannabis and what that means. I'm here to tell you right now, do not let the outside world dictate what you need to use to help you manage your pain symptoms. This is your pain management. It's between you and your medical health care team. I'm fortunate. I have a family physician. I have a nurse care practitioner. I have people that I can talk to within my team. I'm not using anything that no one is unaware of. I've had to make adjustments. I've had to educate myself. It is a learning process. I'm learning just as much as my team around me is learning. Whether it's my specialist, my family physician, my nurse practitioner, whatever the case is, I'm having those conversations and I'm having to advocate for myself. Those are the people who you can have those conversations with. Those are the people that are supposed to have your best interests at heart. And if they don't, then maybe you have to find some other sources that you can get support. Now, as for everybody else outside of that, you can set boundaries as to how you want to have those conversations. You can say, I really don't want to discuss my cannabis use with you when it comes to my pain management, when it comes to my chronic pain, when it comes to my mental health and my mental wellness. As a matter of fact, having this conversation causes me extra and unnecessary anxiety, so I'd rather we just not discuss it. I would say for some individuals, don't even bother bringing it up because their minds just can't go there to have that flexibility, to have that conversation. Anyone who's going to come to you with judgment, who's going to come to you with aggression and hostility, either you shut it down, and if you don't feel you have the advocacy to do that, then you'll have to do what I had to do today because I was in a vehicle kind of trapped with individuals who had very, very strong opinions. I basically had to find a way to avoid and deflect. I'm not saying that's always the best case scenario, but you do what you need to do in the moment that's going to be best for you. If someone is not going to be willing to respect those boundaries, then you're going to have to keep putting them in place. putting them in place, putting them back in place until they realize that this is my hard boundary and this is where it stops. Otherwise, you might have to have the conversation around, if this is how you're going to speak to me about why and how I'm using cannabis, then we're probably going to have to redefine this relationship. Maybe we're not going to be talking as often or as much. Maybe we're not going to be talking about anything at all whatsoever. I don't know what that's going to look like for you, but I want you to know, don't let the external influences of everyone else's opinion, including the internet, even mine, be the one to influence the kind and way and manner in which you use cannabis. If you choose to use it responsibly, medically, even if you're using it recreationally and your healthcare team is aware of what you are doing and what you're using, the concentrations, how are you ingesting cannabis, there's a whole lot to it. It's not as simple as I'm just lighting up a joint because I want to get high. That's actually very, very condescending and pedantic to say to someone who's living with chronic pain. So if, as a Black woman, you cannot find someone to listen and to respect your individual choices, then I do agree it's time to put the boundaries up, and don't make any apologies for it, because I know I'm not going to. That's what I wanted to share with you all today. Hopefully you can take something away from this. Tell me what tools and strategies that you have to use when people, whether it's close relatives, family members, acquaintances, or even having those hard discussions with the healthcare providers too, because they have their own internalized bias when it comes to cannabis and its use and its effectiveness. So what do you do? What helps? What's in your best interest? Remember, the efficacy starts with you, and it always will end with you. So just know that I see you and I hear you. I'm here to advocate on behalf of all women, of all Black women in particular, because Black women deserve to be loved, are lovable, and deserve to be cherished. Thanks, everyone, and have a blessed day.